Okay, this is the second video, and hopefully you've watched the slope video, done the delta math, and now you can do the second video for notes on slope-intercept form. So there's three different forms of a line, and the first one is slope-intercept form, and it's y equals mx plus b. And most middle schools normally cover this form, so I'm guessing this is not going to be foreign to any of you guys and should be pretty easy. Okay, in slope-intercept form, m represents the slope, and B represents the y-intercept. And we write the y-intercept. I'm going to be really picky about it. The y-intercept is an ordered pair, so I'm going to want to write it as a parentheses 0, comma b. If you just put whatever b is, I'll count it, won't give you full credit. Okay, so when we are graphing these, the first thing we're going to do in slope-intercept form is identify S I've got for slope and Y for y-intercept. So the slope of this line is going to be 2/3 because the slope is the number that is in front of the X. The y-intercept is the number at the end of the equation. So the y-intercept is 4, but we're going to write it as an ordered pair. So that is 0, 4. Now, when we go to graph it, the first point that we're going to plot is always the y-intercept. So I'm going to start at 0, 4 and plot that point. Now, with my slope being positive 2/3, that means my rise is positive and my run is positive. So starting at my y-intercept, I'm going to go up 2 and right 3. But I don't have any more space to keep going up and to the right. And so I want a few more points. I want to put as many points as I can on here. So the opposite of going up and to the right would be down and to the left. So we're going to go down 2 and left 3 and make a point, and then we can connect the dots. And let's look at number 2. On number 2, our slope is the number in front of the x, which is 2, and our y-intercept is -5, but we're going to write it 0, -5. You will not get full credit if you write -5. You have to write it as an ordered pair. So practice it now. Okay, the first thing to do is plot our y-intercept, which is 0, -5. And now we're going to use our slope to find more points. Now, technically, we will need to think of slope as a fraction. If you write 2, you're going to get full credit. But technically, to make it a fraction, we put it over 1. So if we're graphing that, we're still going to have to go up and to the right. So we go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. But instead of going up and to the right, the opposite of going up and to the right would be down and to the left. And once I have these points, I can connect the dots, and there is my line. Okay, number 3, the slope is the number in front of x, which is 3/4. And the y-intercept is the number added on here. And there is nothing added there. So the y-intercept is 0, 0. And this point right here we call the origin. And my slope is 3/4. So I'm going to go up 3 and right 4. And the opposite of going up and to the right would be down and to the left. And then there would be the line. Now, all three of these graphs have positive slope. And if you notice, all three of these graphs go up from left to right. So after you graph them, you can take a step back and look and say, do they go the right way? Did I do the right thing? Okay, number 4, our slope is -1/3 because it's the number in front of the x, and the y-intercept is -2, but we're going to write it as an ordered pair, 0, -2. So when I graph it, I'm going to start at 0, -2. Now, when it's a negative slope, I can only think as the top number being negative or the bottom. If I make both negatives, two negatives make a positive, and that won't work. So if I think of the top being negative, that's going to be down and to the right. And if I go down and to the right, my line would go this way. The opposite of down and to the right would be up and to the left. And if I connect those points, I know I must have done something right because from left to right, my slope is going down. So it represents that I do, in fact, have a negative slope. Hey, number 5, my slope is -3 because it's the number in front of the x. And my y-intercept is not just 4, it's 0, 4. And I not only write as an ordered pair, but I put parentheses around it. So 0, 4 is right here. And then for my slope, technically this is over 1. So I'm going to go down and to the right. So down 3 And right 1 or up 3 and left 1 would be the opposite of that. So I can connect my dots, and there's my line. Number 6. Number 6, again, your slope is -2/5 because it's the number in front of the x. Notice that I don't write x on any of the slopes because the x is not part of the slope. It's just the number in front. The y-intercept is the number added or subtracted on, and nothing was added or subtracted on, so my y-intercept is 0, 0. And then I'm going to use my slope. I'm going to go down and to the right, and I cannot continue to go down to the right, but I can go do the opposite, which is up and to the left. And then I connect the dots. Please make sure that you're going through the dots and that you're putting arrows on the end. I know my lines aren't very straight, but on the computer, it's kind of tricky to make them straight. And if you look at all 3 of these graphs from left to right, they are in fact going down. So it shows they have negative slope. Okay, let's take a look at a couple on the back. Number 7, the slope. The slope is the number in front of x. And if there's no number in front of x, there's an invisible 1. Because it's not what's added or subtracted, it's what's number is multiplied in front. And if you multiply something to get itself, there has to be a 1 there. The y-intercept is this number at the end, so that's going to be 0, -5. Okay, so I'm going to start at -5, and then using my slope, I'm going to go, well, I got to make it a fraction, so put 1 over 1, so up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. And the opposite of going up and to the right would be down and to the left. So this is what my graph would look like. Okay, number 8. My slope is the number in front of the x. What number is multiplied in front of that x? Well, for that x to still be there, it has to be something, so it's going to be -1. The y-intercept is the number added or subtracted to the end, which is going to be 7, so I write 0, 7. So 0, 7 is right here. And then I have to go down and to the right. Remember, this is over 1, so this is down and to the right. I can't go up and to the left. That won't fit, but I can make some points this way. Connect the dots. Don't forget to go through them and not just stop because we're not drawing segments that start and stop. We're drawing lines, so they're going to have arrows on both sides. Okay, number 9. Well, there's a couple of ways to look at number 9. First of all, the slope. The slope is the number in front of x, but this doesn't have an x. So if there's no x, x is 0. And if my slope is 0, if you remember from the last video, that means that I have a flat line. Okay? And it's going to, another way to look at it is that y equals 2 is not just a point, it's all the points where y equals 2. So I could have the point 0, 2. I could have the point 3, 2. I could have the point -4, 2. I could have the point 5, 2. But when I start putting all these points in there where y equals 2, it forms a horizontal line. And when it forms a horizontal line, where it crosses the y-axis is where the y-intercept is. And this one crosses the y-axis right here at the point 0, 2. And so that is my y-intercept. Okay, let's look at number 10. Now we got y equals -6. So we need to think about all the points where y equals -6. So we can have 0, -6, 2, -6, -3, -6. I can keep going, but it's going to be all of these points along the horizontal line. And when I have a horizontal line, my slope is 0, which makes sense because I don't have an x. And then my y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, and it crosses it right here at 0, -6. Okay, now the next two are a little bit different because they don't say y equals, they say x equals. So if y equals was all the points where y equals -6, then x equals 4 has to be all the points where x equals 4. So we could have the point 4, 0, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, -3, 4, negative 6. We could keep going. But all of these points would line up and create a vertical line. And we have a vertical line, our slope is undefined. This wants the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where this graph crosses the y-axis. My blue line never crosses my yellow y-axis. So this y-intercept is none. There's an x-intercept. That's not what we asked for. We asked for the y-intercept. Okay, one more time. X equals negative 5. So all the points where x is negative 5. So negative 5, 0, negative 5, 3, negative 5, negative 1. But they form this vertical line. And we have a vertical line. The slope is undefined. And the y-intercept is where they cross the y-axis. And this does not cross the y-axis. And if it does not cross the y-axis, then there is no y-intercept. Okay, these last three, we are writing the equation of a line. So we know it's going to be y equals something x plus a number. Well, let's see if we can figure out what those numbers are. Well, this number here that goes to the end is the y-intercept. So that's where it crosses the y-axis. And it looks to me like this one crosses the y-axis at 3. So this is going to be plus 3. The number that goes in front of the x is the slope. So we'll have to count the slope off the graph just like we did before. So I've got 2 points on here, and I'm going to go from left to right. So left, right, I have to go down 1, 2. So that's going to be negative 2. And I have to go right 1. So it's negative 2 over 1, which this would be negative 2. So my equation is y equals negative 2x plus 3. All right, let's do that again on this one. It's going to be y equals something x plus a number. Well, the first number is where it crosses the y-axis. And this one crosses the y-axis at negative 4. The number in front of the x is the slope. So now we got to find the slope. Well, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 to get up there. And 1, 2, 3, 4 to go across. So it's 3 over 4. So it's just 3/4. So my equation, y equals 3/4 x minus 4. Last one. Ooh, this is a vertical line. So look back in our notes. What did we just do? Is a vertical line x equals or y equals? Looks to me like it's x equals. So when it's a vertical line, it's x equals, and wherever it crosses the x-axis, which in this case is 3. If the line had been horizontal like this, then it would be y equals whatever it happens to be. All right, now that you've completed both parts of your notes, I need you to now do the homework, and you're welcome to talk to people while you're working. And then once you are done with the homework, you need to turn into the sub both your notes and the homework, and you will get credit for the notes, the Delta Math, and the homework. You'll have 3 scores in the grade book for today.